Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely all join. And do a quick shout out to all the people who've been supporting me on Patreon. So shout out to Alistair Main, Dank, David Wayne Foster, God Rockin, Jeranism, Kirsten Smith, Matt, Michael, sorry, scroll down, Paige, Renee, Sam Hine and Tina Baker. Thank you very much to all the people who've been supporting me on Patreon. If you've been watching the show regularly, you'll know I'm very delighted at the moment as I've just purchased a new to me car to get me around and hopefully keep the show on schedule. So I'll raise the mic on the hangout and say a very quick hello to 10th Man, who's just sorted out some farmyard transport of his own.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Wonderful. I took care of some pressure issues.
Did you ask the people fixing it if they could just give you the cushy air pressure without the expensive tyre bit?
Oh my gosh, that would have been fun, huh?
I wonder if Spurs will come on today.
Yes, that was a quite dynamic situation yesterday. You could never have told me one day Brenda would make more sense.
Well, somebody, I think it was Paige in the comments or the live chat, I forget which, it might not have been Paige, either way, pointed out that it might be the case that you reach a point as a flat earther, and I vaguely remember this myself, where you kind of say to yourself, everything must go, and we occasionally on the show will say, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but that's essentially what's happening.
Well, to say you can't measure pressure was ridiculous on Spurs' part.
He's questioning everything, so more power
but
to him in
that's a
some
very
respects.
simple thing. The guy who gave me my tires yesterday, he said, oh, by the way, I didn't, this exact words, okay? He said, I didn't fill up your tires to the required pressure because they're old and I didn't want them to pop. Okay, well, what was he saying really? Well, that he had some kind of compressed gas, obviously the air, and as he was filling it, he was having some kind of a gauge that showed how many pounds per square inch of air was going into those tires. And whatever the total was, say 40 psi for this example, he didn't put 40 psi. He put maybe 34 or 36. Well, how would he know that unless he was able to measure it?
Indeed.
I mean, it's just so silly to misquote you at the same time, because you have always said you don't know what the sky is, and to a certain point, neither do I. But as a Christian who believes the Genesis account of creation, I say it's a firmament because I believe the Genesis account of creation. But that doesn't violate or do anything with you can't have gas pressure without a container. It actually fits hand in glove for me. But you have never said that. You have always said it's a container. I don't know what it looks like, but I know how gas works.
Yeah, I know what it's not.
They were trying to get you to do something different than you've ever said.
Well, I'm debunking the assertion, the positive claim. I don't need to make any claim of my own to debunk their assertion that the sky is a vacuum. And that's the point. If you say, well, so we've got a dome then. Well, I don't know that. I have no idea what the sky is, but I'm not making a positive assertion in that regard. Obviously, they'd love to, so they can pull it. They'd love me to, so they can pull it apart. But I don't know what the sky is, and I'm not going to say I do. I can infer all I like. Who cares? It's just an inference. It means nothing. It's not positive proof of what the sky is. I don't know.
Correct, because the question itself is saying exactly what you believe. The question is, can you have gas pressure without a container? Well, it's not even talking about the sky.
Well, it is. I mean, it is directly referencing the sky. I know you're not saying
No. I know, but we're referencing it to the sky. But when the question itself is, can you have gas pressure without a container? You could ask that question here on Earth about something on Earth with my tires. Can I have tire pressure without those tires? No.
Yeah. How can you have gas pressure without a container is the question, because there isn't a positive assertion that we have gas pressure without a container. So that's why the question's phrased that way. It doesn't mean I have to make any positive claims, and I'm not going to. As much as I'm not against, I am kind of against it, but it's one of those. There's plenty of people with a Christian faith that justify it in that way, and you go, okay, fine, you've justified it in that way. I'm not going to do the dishonour of pulling it apart for all the same reasons. You're entitled to your belief. It's the same as anybody who wants to believe they're on a sphere. You're not. There's no positive proof that you'll ever provide in that regard. But if you want to believe it, well, I'm not going to stop you. You can believe whatever you want. But in terms of ice walls and domes, it's like, why would you make that sort of assertion if you've got no evidence to actually back it beyond an azimuthal equidistant projection of a globe? And
I have never used the argument of the firmament for anything. I don't need to. First of all, I haven't been up to the sky. I don't know what it actually looks like or what the shape is. I just know what it says in Genesis. But the argument I do use is, can you have gas pressure without a container? And they go, no. And then I say, well, then how do you explain the heliocentric model of our atmosphere next to a vacuum? I never have to bring Genesis into the story.
Well, you're entitled to make your own logical deduction. I'm just not going to force that rhetoric on anybody when I don't need to, is the point. I don't need to make a positive assertion about what the sky is. When they say, oh, well, you've got to tell me what the sky is. No, I don't. You make up your own mind. You go and make your own conclusions. But if you want to investigate it, I'm all ears, I suppose.
Yeah, but again, I'm agreeing. Because I never tell them that. I do what you do. It works better.
Yeah.
Absolutely new and brand new for you guys. You're going to like this, I think, especially the guys who like looking at things beyond the horizon. Now, let's take a look at my screen. So you're not recording, are you, Nathan?
Is there a good morning?
Yeah, I am recording.
It's a red rhetoric video. Does he allow you to show his videos?
We're critically analysing his information and you don't play massive chunks of it uncriticised, then yeah, it's perfectly within fair use. What's your point? Just before you put it up, though.
We're not going to watch the video. We're going to see a frame by frame of a phenomena here showing. So basically, in his video, he's got the rocket. It takes off and something leaves the rocket and falls from the rocket, right? So as it goes up, something starts to fall down. You can see it falling down towards the Earth. Actually, I've got a gift of this. I don't know if I can play the gift.
Okay, we've seen the footage. What's your point?
Well, look at this here. So let's go forward a bit more. I need to be able to play it, really. Can I play this little bit here?
Yeah, fine.
All right, so let's take a look at this. So, is it playing? Go back. Okay, so look. Oh, come on, not now. Don't do this to me. Oh my gosh. Right, I'm having problems. Right, so look, things falling down. It's coming down, as we can see. Everything's normal. So hold on, we have to get down to the bottom. Gonna drop. So now look at this. Let's pay attention to this area if it plays. Why is this happening? It's not working.
It is. It's running. The time is running.
Yeah, but my screen has stopped.
What's the point you're trying to make?
Is that we see this object fall behind the horizon, but the water is, it shows a mirroring line that extends out that you wouldn't see. I don't know why my computer's doing this. Let's try it this way.
Rather than making your point, you're literally sabotaging your own point.
Because the video is not playing.
Just make your point.
Well, we see beyond the horizon, basically, where they say the horizon and the Earth goes curving downwards. Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, let me start that. That wasn't very good.
My God, are you just going to mumble and mumble? You literally just make one sentence, concise point, Spurs? Rather than moaning about your video, moaning about your computer, just make your point at least once, concisely.
Yeah, we see beyond the horizon at eye level or horizon level, you could say. Depends on how so beyond that horizon, they say that we couldn't zoom in and see beyond that horizon. When that object falls into the water, it makes a big splash. So what it does, it shows a mirroring behind that horizon. Obviously, if it was curving downwards, wouldn't be able to happen.
So you're saying you can see the splash beyond the horizon?
Not just the splash, it reflects. As the object, just before it touches the water, you see a reflection. Now, how would we be able to get a reflection on a curved surface, right?
You wouldn't.
Exactly, that's the point.
Well, you wouldn't get a perfect reflection.
You wouldn't get a reflection.
You wouldn't get a perfect reflection. This came up on one of the other shows, and the end analogy that was the best was like the circus. The fun fair mirror, hall of mirrors where they're all bent. Yeah, you still get a reflection off a bent mirror, but it's all distorted.
Right. Oh, I found the actual video. So, something on my VLC, I think I need to update the player or something. But so as the thing's falling.
So that's your inquiry then. So what's your conclusion from your statement? Your assertion is you can see beyond the horizon. What's your conclusion?
That it shows that it's not curving.
That it's flat.
Yeah.
Right. Got there in the end. Painful though it was.
We can see it now, look, because I'm playing the video.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Here we go. Look. So,
hold on. You're not listening. I haven't got it up. Go ahead.
So let me slow it down. So as it's coming down, okay, so we can see that it just makes a reflection here. So now the question we'd have to find out, how far away from the actual horizon is this object? So let's continue. As it comes down into the water, we see a huge perfect reflection here. And as the water comes down, look again, there's another horizon line here. So we see a flat surface beyond the horizon, which would be impossible on a curved surface, like a mirror. This much mirroring here, what we see here as the water falls. Right there. Do you see the reflection there?
We got boat videos that do this, where the boat's inverted and people sometimes are walking on water when the boat disappears because of the water.
Fairly standard fare, but yes, you're right. Here we go. I see it. Yes, it's right there. You've posted exactly the right moment. Excellent. Well done.
See that there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, on a board, this would be impossible because it would have gone straight behind the horizon, and you wouldn't. So this suggests this is all water here, all this area. You see, and yeah,
it's suggesting the vanishing point is above, and then you've got the inferior mirage below. Is what you're saying, and that would infer that the water is extending above the hard horizon line.
Exactly, and that's what Curve said this morning by mistake. He's gone, oh, the water line is higher than the horizon. And I said, what? The water line is higher than the horizon? He said, no, I didn't say that. I said, is it higher, lower, or the same? He said, oh, you just don't understand. You don't understand.
Well, you can almost see it. You can almost make it out in this image now. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Just don't do anything a second, Spurs. Maybe it's just my imagination, but I can almost see a line. Like on the fold line.
This is wait till Ranty sees this. I haven't shown this. You've seen this now, and it's amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? This is way beyond the horizon. What they say we can't see. You know, we know it's not at the horizon. So I'll post the link of the actual video.
Yeah, cool, very cool. You're right, it's right to Ranty Street, but Ranty's got something so much more juicy. I'm not trying to decry what you've just put up. Well done, Spurs. Excellent catch. Good presentation. Well, sort of.
Sort of.
No, it's all right. You made your point in the end. All that matters is there's at least one point that you make the point really concisely, rather than, oh, my computer's not playing. Oh, my video's not playing. Oh, what's the while you're in the middle of the concise point. It just stops being concise anymore. But anyway, yeah. So Ranty's got something juicy. I've asked him to present it on Ballbusters. So someone's tipped their cap to a particular flat Earth proof, and he's feeling it out at the moment and gathering up the data to present. But it's an absolute slam dunk. It's absolutely awesome. I'm not even going to hint at what it is because I just want to keep the surprise. Hopefully Ranty will do the same and not actually mutter what he's doing until he's got it all down, every bit that he needs to present it. It'll be fairly concise. I mean, it's going to be tops 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. It's not going to be like an hour long, but a fairly simple slam dunk, flat earth proof, new one. You know, not used before. Excellent. I just can't wait for Ballbusters on Saturday. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
I was just going to say, so's Anthony. So Anthony phoned me up this morning. So we tried to get on a group call. So got a Ballbusters group, and Ranty started up the call and started telling us about his example that he'd come across via another YouTuber. And we were like, this is absolutely exceptional. And Anthony joined the call, but then dropped and had a few issues. But then he called me up this morning, having seen some of the work in progress being done, and said, this is amazing. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I've asked Ranty to do it on Ballbusters because he was asking me, well, are you going to present it or what's going to happen? So I said, I think it's good enough to just go straight onto Ballbusters once it's formatted. So that's precisely what's going to happen.
Excellent.
Like I say, I wish I could tell you more. I just don't want to steal any of Ranty's thunder.
Well, I could. What I can do now on your show is just, if this is like a little bit lighter than Ranty's, I could present this on your live stream, and cause I just want to get the opinion of of the audience and ball earthers and flat earthers alike.
See if you can get him on Skype. You're on Skype, right? See if you can get hold of Ranty, get him to come on. Tell him you've got something to show him.
Yeah, I'll call him actually. Yeah, okay.
Just don't let your audio leak through. Cool. Yeah, very nice. Good work, Spurs. Very, very contrasting to yesterday's appearance by you, I've got to admit.
Hey, Flatzoid.
Hey, Flatzoid. I listened back to yesterday's show, Flatzoid, and could hear that you were desperately trying to get a word in. And Chocolate then at the end of when there was a little break said, have you got something to add? And you'd stepped away from your mic, so I'm really sorry. FYI.
Hello?
Did you hear any of that, Flatzoid? Probably not.
Not really. It's quite noisy at work today. Sorry.
I was just saying sorry you didn't get your chance to interject yesterday. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Although you did get one remark in about thermal expansion.
Yeah, I screamed it out.
Right, about 2 or 3 minutes, we'll start live. We've already got a couple of people in Discord. That's always got a few internet issues.
Yeah, that image Ranty just showed there.
Spurs.
I'm sorry. Spurs just showed their mirrors, pun intended, I guess, or not intended. The images Ranty showed before, as well as others, of the mirroring effect as the boats get further away and there's water underneath and air underneath, and the boat looks like it's floating. This one is real cool because it's coming from top down at a speed, and it creates a shadow, it looks like, first on that little thing at the bottom where he had it paused. But if we're on the ball, why is it doing that?
You don't need to ask for the cause. It is what it is, right?
Yes.
You know, you're only going to get
Burden
them
of
claiming cause and effect with earth balls when they can't validate it.
Burden of proof. Make a claim. Prove it.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Arwen. How was your show?
Good.
I didn't get to see any of it, sorry.
How dare you? Fine.
I plugged it, though. Did you see me plugging it in yesterday's after show?
I
Even
think
gave
I
you a
missed
wrench.
that.
Did you notice?
I don't think I sat in till the end. I think I left. I
Oh,
went
right.
for groceries. Sorry, I missed it.
That's all right. I was plugging your show, so linking
Thanks.
people to Flat Earth Early Bird, as you do.
Mhm.
Subscribe today.
Yeah.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, how dare you? Then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwen, 10th Man, Spurs Chemo, and Flatzoid in the Google Plus Hangouts on air. How are you doing?
Very
Yellow.
well.
Hello.
Good
hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're also joined by, I have to move my mic to read these tiny icons, Billy Bars, Brenda, Dougie, and who else we got? Earth-shaped Investigator. A warm welcome to all of you on Discord.
Hello.
Hello. Very good to
Shall I
have you all.
begin?
Who wants to kick off
Thanks for having
housekeeping? Who wants to kick off housekeeping?
I will.
Go
Any
ahead,
signs
Ted.
of Earth curvature?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Next.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Scientific evidence of what?
Nope.
Any
Scientific evidence of gravy tea?
Gravy
Sounds
tea.
disgusting.
Ugh. Sounds horrible. Do you want to ask one, Owen?
Nope. Oh, I mean, sure.
No.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
I'm going to trim out
No.
a little section from JLB where I think it was show 509. Basically 2 or 3 shows earlier, 504, 503, something like that. I'd pointed out that JLB's proof of geocentrism, i.e. antipodal star rotation, was unaffirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q therefore P. If the Earth is a sphere, we will observe antipodal star rotation, in the southern and northern hemisphere. We observe antipodal star rotation in the northern and southern hemisphere. Therefore, the Earth is a sphere. So it assumes its outcome, antipodal star rotation, denoted by the word hemisphere. So this was pointed out, and then JLB actually came on to debate his fallacy, and every time it got to the stage that we were tying him down, he rumpused and obfuscated. It was quite funny, but I'm going to trim that out because it's just another toe tag, basically. So I'm going to trim that out. And there's also another toe tag for Toady Liley. So I'll trim that one out as well over the weekend. So those will come in the next day, probably tomorrow, Friday. But yeah, axial rotation, shout out to JLB, affirming the consequent, formal logical fallacy. Other than that, no.
You can't do that, Nathan.
I can't do what?
You can't just make up what the other person's argument is and then apply a fallacy to it and pretend that that's any
Look
kind
who's
of intellectual
talking, Brenda.
honesty.
What do you mean?
Look
I
at
didn't just
talking.
make it up. I've just literally explained that on a show, he uses that fallacy. He uses the word
Well,
hemisphere.
Unless the person actually says that, you can't attribute a fallacy to them.
Yeah, he did.
Because what you
Well,
do is you
eschew a
make
natural phenomena.
up, you,
Not listening.
you
Yeah, he
invent
did.
their
He did.
argument
You-
for
you're
them.
not listening
you
to
invent
me.
their argument
Yeah,
for
you're
them.
correcting me on something I haven't done. He did. What do you want?
Yeah, but you do it all the time. You do this all the time.
Shut Brenda up. I'm not interested in her throwing accusations at me. She's just said I can't put basically words in JLB's mouth. When you use the word hemisphere, trying to prove that you're on a antipodal situation sphere, then that's affirming the consequent. I'm not putting words in his mouth. That's what he did.
Yeah. You don't understand logic or logical fallacies, and you put words in people's mouths all the time.
No, I didn't. Do you want to give me an example? Go and get
Brenda.
one. Hold on.
You just gave an example.
No, I did not. I gave an example of him using the word hemisphere to prove his point in terms of antipodal star rotation and how that's an affirming the consequent.
Yeah, that's not a logical fallacy. To use the
is.
word hemisphere is not a logical fallacy.
Using the word hemisphere when you're trying to prove that we're on a sphere, that's affirming the consequent. That's precisely what it is.
No, it's not. You have to show that it's actually fallacious, and you can't do that.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, really?
If P,
So
then
what does
Q.
hemisphere?
Let's do it. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. If the Earth is a sphere, P, we will observe antipodal star rotation in the north and south hemisphere, Q. We observe antipodal star rotation in the north and south hemisphere, Q. Therefore, the Earth is a sphere. That is an affirming the consequent, formal, logical fallacy. Now, you don't have to like it, Brenda, but I absolutely understand what this fallacy is.
That is the fallacy, but you're just putting words in people's mouths.
Do you want to give me an example of where I've done that?
You just did it
To who?
to the person you're talking about.
And have
With
you
the
watched that
hemisphere
video?
example. I
Have
don't
you-
know who that
And you've
person
watched
is.
that video, have you? To accuse me of
Yeah.
putting words in that person's
Yeah.
mouth over the period
Well, you're
of...
you're
you're not going to
lying.
let me finish my answer, so let's just shut her up and say, you haven't watched that 3-hour video, as I have done this morning. So I know what he was saying, and I know where his fallacy lies. I've also seen him use it many times before, as described only moments earlier, was detailed on a previous show, how he assumes his outcome of sphericity. So this was detailed to him, which is why he came on the show in the first place. He also did it in one of his videos. He used that exact fallacy. And I put a comment to JLB detailing, with his own words, how he affirmed the consequent in one of his comments. And again, off the back of that comment, which was discussed in that video about how he affirmed the consequent, yeah, that was all discussed in that 3-hour 2 hangout, which you've not watched, when you claim I've put words in people's mouth. Brenda, you're just making shit up that you don't know to level accusations at me that aren't true.
Yeah. Do you know the difference between modus ponens and modus tollens?
So she's not going to concede that she's just made a load of shit up, claimed that I'm putting words in people's mouth, even though I've literally just spent the last 3 hours going through those 2 hangouts to find out what was said and the circumstances in which they were said. And my memory doesn't fail me. JLB affirmed the consequent. I pointed it out to him because he was literally challenging people to explain why we have antipodal south hemisphere rotation. That was his challenge. Nobody's ever been able to explain this affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy to me, and then I explained it to him in his comments, Brenda. But you're just going to move the subject on to something else now, asking me about a different fallacy. Yeah, I understand affirming the consequent. JLB was guilty of it. I'm going to trim it out and put it out for an audience. Maybe. It's not exactly the most concise thing. It's spread out over 3 hours, so nevertheless, you're just wrong. You've just levelled an accusation at me that's not true, Brenda. It's outrageous. Now you want to move on. What have you got to back your assertion? What have you got to back your assertion that I'm putting people's words in people's mouth?
What hangout was this, please?
Why are you asking me? You already know I've put words in his mouth. You surely have watched it before you levelled your accusation at me that I've done this.
No, you do it all the time.
So she's not watched it. She hasn't got the slightest clue what was said, but she's going to make a positive assertion that I'm guilty of putting words in people's mouths. She hasn't even watched it. Now she's asking me to go and look at it. What an outrage.
Was this one of your live streams?
Why are you asking me questions? You've already accused me of something based on this particular series of hangouts. Now you're asking me where they are so you can watch them. You stupid bitch. Fuck you. Get out of my fucking hangout, you stupid bitch. How fucking dare you? You haven't got the slightest idea what you're talking about, and you've just positively accused me of putting words in somebody's mouth when I haven't. So piss off. You stupid bitch. You lying bitch. Don't accuse me of that, you lying bitch.
Wait,
how dare
Don't
you,
worry,
Brenda?
she thinks that she is a natural phenomena.
How dare
are you saying Brenda is lying?
Yeah,
Oh
she
my
just
God.
accused me of putting words in someone's mouth.
Holy
And then
shit.
when I ask her, where have I done that? She asks me where to find the hangout that I'm talking about and what number it is and just says, oh, you do it all the time. What bloody outrage. Dumb
She's a
bitch.
complete fantasist, loony bin, professional straw man creator. She just
is a
makes
phenomenon.
straw man as therapy every day. Comes back with more straw man. She doesn't mind if you burn them down as long as she can keep on making them.
Yeah, that's why I kicked her out. You know, she's not going to say, oh, yeah, okay, I just made that shit up so I could level an accusation of you doing something wrong. No, she's not going to concede that. She's just going to ask me what a different fallacy is, what modus tollens is. Oh, piss off. Get out. Don't accuse me of that shit. I'll start making shit up about you, Brenda. See how you bloody like it. Who wants to ask the next
Probably
housekeeping
enjoy it
question?
in a weird way.
So, we moved on
She's a
from...
masochist after all.
Yeah, she is masochist. Moving on, that was axial rotation. My apologies for the swearing. It does piss me off when people just make shit up about me, though.
I don't let her on the early bird show anymore, and she almost tries to get on with me every day, and I know exactly what she's going to be doing, and I just don't want to do that anymore.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth? We're waiting.
Holding out
We
hope.
must presuppose.
Hey, Darren, how you doing?
Afternoon, Nathan. Thank God you've got rid of Brenda.
Well, I'll tolerate her from one point until she just starts making stuff up. And then it's like, no, if this is how it's going to continue, just get out. I can't be asked to have my blood pressure raised and me start swearing, breaking the rules of the hangout myself, because I can't leave or be kicked out. So,
But that's
you know,
her sole intention.
she's obviously pissed me off, right? That's why I'm swearing. That's the whole point of that rule. Usually, the point that someone starts swearing is where they've lost control. I'm absolutely no different. At the point that I'm absolutely outraged with what she's claiming at me, it's like, that's why I'm swearing. Why the hell should I have to put up with that? It's my show. I'll just get rid of her. It's like, don't make up a load of lies about me, Brenda. You haven't got the vaguest clue where your accusation's coming from. You're asking me after the fact. This is it. She's already wound me up, right? She's won at this point. No, there's no evidence of any molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, but I do hold out hope. Hopefully somebody in Discord will come one day. We never know.
We need a mad scientist making a strong drill bit.
Hey, Paige.
G'day, Nathan.
G'day.
Yeah, g'day.
Was it yourself that made the comment about Spurs?
Which comment?
Oh, of course you weren't here. I forget the after show's not broadcast, we're just recording. Before the show went live, Paige, we were talking about I think it was you in either comments or the live feed. I think it was you, were saying that Spurs is just basically throwing the baby out with the bathwater, is rejecting everything like nothing's true anymore. Was that you?
No, that was me.
No.
On my show. Never mind.
Sorry, Paige, Arwin spoke for you.
That's all right. No, that wasn't me. I think I said something about him losing the plot, but nothing about baby with the bathwater.
No, I thought you'd commented to say, he's just basically rejecting everything. It's got to the point where he doesn't want to believe anything's true. Afternoon, people. Good day, Paige.
Yes. I did say that. Yeah, it's like he's gotten to the point where he's just questioning absolutely everything.
Yeah, I thought it was you.
Why? But why? That is the issue. Because he got pretty agitated when we started to basically push back. So I think he's doing it for a specific reason, not even the subjects themselves. He's trying to be manipulative. I don't like it. I don't like where he's going.
Out to Del West watching. Afternoon,
Brenda
people.
and
Good day,
Spurs
Paige.
are just trying to stall the whole process that you go through.
Good day, Del.
Sorry, Darren, go ahead.
Yes, just because Brenda and Spurs are trying to derail the topic every single day. So that's why they just completely point blank to accept anything that we're saying.
Spurs is devil's advocate, you realise. He's on our side.
No.
What do you mean, no?
He used to be.
He is.
No,
I know
he's not.
Spurs. Spurs is not against us. He wants to exhaust the arguments. He's playing devil's advocate. He's very adept at it. He's out in their trenches. So, just accept Spurs for what he is. He's a good guy. Don't knock Spurs. He's a good guy.
No, I have my doubts about that.
Oh my God, here we go. Somebody starts challenging the accepted rhetoric on the flat earth side, and next thing you know, they're a bloody shill. Or they're a disinfo agent, or blah,
What are
blah,
you talking about? I do that all the time.
No, I think Spurs just may be really worried about how many lies there are and what they've lied about. Like he's starting to think, oh my God, what else is there?
I think he's doing it for political reasons and not for subject-related
Really?
reasons. Yes, not politics as in the government politics, but as in group.
No,
politics.
I get you. Yeah.
He's not satisfied with quantum eraser basically taking up a foundational part of the discussion, and he wants to try to break it. Like
he's
Bob
a totally
in his way
different
tried,
kind
like
of
I
person.
in my way tried. A lot of people are trying, and now he's trying to do it by using John's rules against him. And up to a certain level, he has a good point with that, because there are issues that need to be worked through, but not by completely dispelling foundational sensory input things. Like not believing pressure is a thing that's totally absurd. So it's no point. What he's doing is not effective.
I just wonder, does he have anybody else to talk to? Or does he, did he have anybody else to talk to about this air pressure thing before he came on and just blurted out what he was thinking? You know what I mean? Like if somebody had sat down and sort of had a chat to him, maybe he wouldn't have gone that far.
Oh, he's been talking about it on Discord. I think he even said he was.
Yeah, but not to, to somebody like a friend, somebody, in real life.
Right.
Somebody to put their arm around him and say, now come on, Spurs, this is a bit much. We're that friend. We are that friend, Paige. I've met Spurs. Okay. Spurs is a good guy. The fact that he'll explore all these nooks and crannies and go to some of these crazy ideas, I admire that. That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
I do the same for Arwin.
We have to keep.
Sorry, go on.
You have to keep your mind open now. There's too many things wrong with this world. You can't dismiss anything too quickly anymore.
Exactly. The fact that I can have those conversations with people like Arwin and with people like Spurs I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, it might appear that I'm vehemently against whatever they're saying, but it's the information is exposed in the conversation. So often people will be watching back, or I'll be watching back the after show, and I'll be in the live chat with everyone else, and people would be going bloody Arwin or bloody ever just to take it off Spurs for a second, and I'll be like, no, you don't get it. We're having this conversation because of Arwin. In other words, the fact that he's on the opposing side and having to defend a position that I don't agree with or you don't agree with in the chat is a good thing. You know, it wouldn't be facilitated because of people like Spurs and Arwin.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how boring
disagreement
the world
is
would be if
basically
we all
ridiculous.
agreed?
Exactly, Paige. It would be very dull if everybody on the panel did actually agree with everything.
Yeah.
Can we at least agree on fundamental, logical reality, please?
Oh no, shut up, Arwin.
Right, before we get into all of that, I've got excellent flat earth proof. If you could share my screen, Nathan, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. You're on.
Excellent, excellent. So what we've got here is footage from Red Rhetorics. You all know well. And he's obviously taken some footage of Orion's launch abort tests. So interestingly enough, he followed the rocket. It went up, and then obviously something came down, and he followed what came down. Now that's where things become interesting. Now, let me play the video, and then we can discuss what we've seen.
Huh?
Keep watching. Excellent. I mean, let's try and let's probably put this in real time a little bit here. So obviously we've got the something falling from the sky, and Reds is kindly following that object for us, and he's doing the best that he can. He zooms out. We see the horizon line, and what's this? How is it possible to have a water level in level with the horizon? If the Earth is curving or water's curving away. So this is obviously beyond the horizon. And I think this is a great demonstration that the Earth cannot possibly be curving in any way. Panel?
What
Hey,
the
Chocolate.
hell was that rock?
Good presentation. Did you make your conclusion? I was trying to get Elder ranty, so I paid attention in the pre-show, but did you make the nice, concise conclusion?
When I did speak to Ranty, I said if you could come on and probably give a more comprehensive explanation. But what I'm seeing here is that the water line behind the horizon is at the same level, suggesting that it doesn't curve as they describe. If you want to condense or concise that point, feel free to.
It shows it's flat.
Yep.
Spurs, do it like you did in the pre-show, where it's just before it hits the water. That was the best one.
Okay, let's try catch that. Let me slow it down. Oh, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, the inferior mirage of whatever it is that's falling.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Chocolate.
Yo.
Okay, give me a second. Slow it down. Rewind. Okay.
Ranty has responded. I'm hoping he'll join.
Excellent. I mean, I'm sure he'll be able to give a more detailed explanation. But let me try and pause it just as it enters the water.
You might have to drop it into quarter speed to catch it.
There we go. Is that good enough?
No, you caught it. Yeah, you've caught it. Well done.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, I'll just circle with my mouse for the audience's benefit what we're talking about. So the inferior mirage below this capsule. So here's the capsule we're talking about. Here's the inferior mirage, meaning that there's a fold line between these two, which is above the water line. So in other words, the water's extending up to this. I'm not going to steal any thunder. Hello, Runty.
Howdy doody.
Excellent, excellent.
Is just before we move on, is your screen sharing? Can you see Spurs Chemo's Red Rhetoric footage?
Yeah, hang on just 1 sec. I've got a lot of feedback coming from me. There we go. Right, sorry. Yeah, I've actually Spurs told me about it, so I've actually just downloaded the video. I've clipped it down, recorded it in 4K, and I've actually paused it on the part where you see the inferior mirage. So if you want me to share my screen.
If you've got it in better definition, then yes, please. Oh, we've got Adam as well. Hello, Adam.
Hey. Afternoon, gentlemen.
Hi, Adam. This is going to cause ripples because, like I say, I don't think Red suspected, this kind of observation. He's just looking at, the object falling towards the ocean. So this will take a lot of explaining.
And you called up his flat Earth proof he's posted, Spurs.
Yes, absolutely.
I saw that the other day.
It's great. It's great. Right.
Yeah. So what's interesting here is I've slowed it down.
Hold on a second. Somebody's playing with their mic. Just start once more, and then hopefully everyone will go on mute.
Okay, so I've only ever seen it a couple of times, literally in the last 10 minutes, but I was quick enough to just download it and see what I needed to see, which was basically, if I play the video now, you see it coming down, and whoa, what's that? I paused it on that frame, obviously, took a screenshot of it. And what you have is this inferior mirage way down here. Now, let me just go back a few frames and you'll see as it's coming down, it doesn't actually meet the water. So the inferior mirage has happened above the perceived horizon. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. It's everything that we've been saying for the past, year or so about this inferior mirage.
And what is that, Ranty?
As it follows down. Watch this. You know it's not going to hit the water. Here we go. Boom, inferior mirage, and it's still not got down.
Ranty, can you go one more? That's it. Just a little. Another
look
one.
At that. Oh, you missed it. No, we had it on. We had it on for one frame, Adam. There we go.
Yeah. And then see what I didn't see the inferior mirage. I just saw it and thought, oh look, it disappears. And then the splash appears, but it disappears actually where it should still be visible. So if you go one more frame.
Yeah, so if we go to the next frame, which is... Oh, hang on, right there. Hang on. Let me just play it, be easier. There we go. So it's just disappeared, basically. So what we get is it stretches. So this is it stretching. So it's changed its composition, or the look of its composition anyway. This is what it looks like prior. Then it goes into this inferior mirage. It's still not hit the water yet. Then it turns into this, it gets stretched, just like here, or partially, some of it's missing even, it could be. And then it completely vanishes behind the inferior mirage, and then we get the splash. Boom.
And Ranty, even if you look at the splash, as it comes down, it starts to reflect. What's the entire splash? What's the water as it comes back to the water, back to the surface?
There's a nice mirage on the bottom of the splash, isn't there, Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Excellent. You could zoom. Yeah.
You got it there, look there.
So, Ranty, can you draw your conclusions? I don't know if you were listening to Spurs doing the same, but I'm hoping you'll do this really concisely in regards to flat Earth proof, but globe Earth debunking, etc., etc.
Well, the absolute proof for anything about this is that we can track this object falling from the sky down to the floor. So we have a object that we can track. And we, watch this, we can track it falling. And when I stop it, it still hasn't reached the water yet. It's still not splashed. And we get another frame of this object further down, proving that we're still seeing the object. The fact we're getting this inferior mirage here proves that all that blockage is behind the inferior mirage. Slam dunk. Thank you very much, Red's Rhetoric. Things do disappear from the bottom up behind the inferior mirage. And this proves it, absolutely.
Yeah, you can't deny the evidence of your own eyes, Red's Rhetoric. Excellent, excellent flat Earth proof. Thank you very much indeedy do.
I mean,
I bet Tim Osborne will try to say that's not right.
It doesn't get much better than that because, like I say, usually the boats are going away from you and you're looking at that, so they have an excuse. But when the object, like you say, Ranty, is coming down, I mean, we could even get the actual GPS. If we wanted to be really picky, we could say, well, Red, where is it falling from? We could model this, right? They would have to model this on their ball and show how it lands, how it would land, and all those types of things. And we can see clearly here as it hits the water, that water level is level with the horizon, which would be impossible on a ball.
Wow.
Francie, can you just pause it there? Look, you should be able to get a clearer line of where the mirage line is now. Where you can see where the two concave bits of the splash.
Yep, I can definitely see that.
Mirror line, shouldn't it?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely, and it's consistent with where the inferior mirage starts on the first frame that I froze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just brilliant.
So
anything behind that, literally anything behind that, anything behind it is disappeared. It's gone behind the inferior mirage. Now, if we know that the speed of this object as it's falling, and we've got about a frame and a half before once it goes behind the inferior mirage, it's about a frame and a half of it before it hits the water. We see the water splash up. So we can maybe work out the distance that it would have traveled in that one frame or 1.5 frames, and then apply that as a function of how much has been hidden. So if it was traveling at, say, in one frame it traveled 100 meters, we could say, well, everything that was 100 meters and below would have been hidden behind the inferior mirage. And we can get that with the tracking. If we knew where Reds was and where this object actually hit the water, we should be able to figure that out.
Might be able to do it from the frames and just the approximate size of the object that's falling.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that. There's obviously the inferior mirage is there. You actually see it.
What would be interesting is
boom there.
Is what would obviously we know what they're going to say, but a ball earther's perspective on this now. What would they expect to see? Would they expect to see? To them, is this normal? Are they going to say, "Well, we expect to see this on a board anyway"? What would their view be on why the water level is?
Well, they didn't see the impact. They didn't see the impact. They saw the splash from the impact, but they didn't see the impact itself. The impact itself was hidden behind that inferior mirage.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And it'd be interesting just to hear how they respond to that, right? Just to hear what they have to say and like how they would explain this on their model. It's not like a boat now. This is completely different from a boat. We've never had something like this, this distance falling from such a high height, hitting something behind the so-called horizon. Yeah.
Well, let's just thank Res Rhetoric for this because he filmed it in 4K as well. So awesome.
Yeah.
No shaky camera. Even the horizon's level. I mean, he did such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm just going to do a quick shout out. So, shout out to Jennifer Winterburn for hitting the super chat. Really appreciate your support, Jennifer. Thank you very much indeed.
Good spot there, Chemo.
So, can we still haven't actually rattled our way through all of the housekeeping questions. Any evidence of the R value?
I'll give you an answer, Nathan. A naught. No, not a lot. Zilch, that's the big O. Not a sausage, not a drop, not the tiniest spot.
Have you done the gravity one yet, Nathan? Did I miss that one?
Spurs ruined it.
He's rude, isn't he?
He did, he ruined it.
It's just still got the disease.
We have done the gravity one, yes, but no. Well, at least we got to the end of housekeeping on this episode. I'm going to do a couple of quick shout-outs because tomorrow the show on this channel, Nathan Oakley 1980, will be the Uncut and After show at 10 o'clock. So that's a pre-record for tomorrow's show, but without going into the boring details, be sure to check out Iron Realm Media Friday, which is tomorrow at 10 p.m. No, sorry, 10:30, correct? 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, what a show! What a show it's gonna be. Do you agree, Chocolate?
Yes, sir.
So
as always, the pre-show on a Wednesday, we had a right old natter last night, Nathan, because Chocolate's going to come on this Friday, and who knows? We kind of left it up in the air. We're not really sure what we're chat about, but we're looking forward to having Chocolate on for a long time. There's been lots of false dawns, so yeah, it's Chocolate saying evening.
That's 10:30 p.m. UK time on Iron Realm Media. So Chocolate Sane is the guest. Be here or be sphere, as they say. The other one is Ballbusters, so 8 p.m. UK time, Saturday, so the day after tomorrow. Ballbusters. We're dropping anchor a little bit on the Coriolis effect, and also, I've plugged this already, Ranty, so I'm hoping Ranty's going to have a little presentation together. He's been putting it together over the last couple of days, and on that subject, did I tell you, Ranty, that Anthony called me all excited this morning on the phone?
No.
Not like Anthony to call me on the phone. He doesn't often phone me from his phone, but he's obviously we wanted to make sure he got hold of me, and he's phoning me up going, "Have you heard this that Ranty's gone through?" And I was like, "Yeah, you were on the call for Ballbusters yesterday for a few minutes." He's like, "It's amazing." I said, "Yeah." As soon as he explained it to me, I went and grabbed my wife and told her. I think it's fantastic. So with a bit of luck, we will also have a presentation from Ranty Flat Earth on Ballbusters of what I consider is quite close to my heart for reasons I won't go into because it will give the game away, but close to my heart Flat Earth proof, which although it has been detailed by another very small, very unknown YouTuber, Ranty's going to have gone to the effort of actually putting it together in a proper presentation and explaining it in ways that make it very clear and concise over the course of maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But that'll be on Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time. Ballbusters on Saturday. Be here or be sphere.
What are you doing tomorrow, Nate?
What am I doing tomorrow? I'm going to be on your show, aren't I, Ranty?
Are you actually going to do a presentation, Nathan? I think this will be a first.
I don't know what I'm going to do. So, as much as my
it
intention...
has to be a presentation, Nathan.
Okay, well, it might get delayed then. If I don't get a chance to actually put a presentation together, let's not mention that just in case I don't get time to do it. But I will be on Ranty Flat Earth.
Answer questions, Nathan, from the audience.
Yeah, that's not like that's an issue as I do it daily, Spurs. That's not really a problem.
So Ranty holds no bars. He'll, throw them thick and fast, right?
I'm sure that's fine. But at some point soon, I'll be on Ranty's round table addressing something. But nevertheless, I haven't got a presentation together yet, so I don't want to say I'm going to be there on Friday. I might be there on Friday tomorrow. We'll see.
You can knock it together, Nathan.
Time. Big issue for me, time.
Time's a problem for everyone, Nate.
Time is just a concept.
As I was just about to plug the early bird as well. So also, as we're plugging shows, Ranty Flat Earth, check out his Ranty's Round Table, which is on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. UK time. So check it out. That's a new show with a schedule. All of these shows are scheduled. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Ranty's Round Table, 6 p.m. UK time, Ranty Flat Earth channel, Be Here or Be Sphere. And then we've got, last but by no means least, Arwin, ARWIJN channel, which runs the Flat Earth Early Bird before each of these debates daily. So at 1 p.m. UK time, an hour before the debates start, Arwin warms them up with a cup of tea.
Yep. Indeed, I do. And I'm always ready to help people wake up with a good question and answers. So.
Okay, great. I mean, as flat earthers, we should be able to discuss these things now. 10th man, are you here? Hope you're here. And Arwin, actually, and even Chocolate. I think we should be able to discuss this idea. I say idea of gas pressure. Without the huge fallout, without the the anguish, because it's something that we all don't understand, and it's something that we've all been told. Just like we've been told about the spin of the Earth. We've been told there's curvature. We've been told there are forces that exist. Okay. Now, I'm trying to find the difference between this pressure, this force, that a number has been applied to that force, that pressure, something that we do not feel, see, or recognize in nature. Hold on a second.
Let him get to the end.
Yeah,
let him get to the end.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, something we do not see or recognize in nature. Now, as I understood, the scientific method would answer phenomena in nature. So we do not see in nature random gases pressurized.
Geysers.
But do those
geysers?
All right, hold on. Do those geysers hold that pressure?
Yep, the mud packets, which is why you see bubbles.
So they bubble.
Yeah. Well, what's a bubble?
so they don't hold the pressure. They don't hold that bubble.
What bubble is? We went through this yesterday. Paul showed you. That's what bubble is.
Doesn't stay there forever. We could build a chamber, pressurize it, and it would stay pressurized.
Yeah, because it's built of a more solid substance. That's to do with the construct of the container, its quality and its time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In nature, though, things wither, and obviously we don't see in nature a vacuum, we don't see gas pressure in a container. Just naturally.
But we already have a container. So you
hold on, Paige. Sorry, just Adam and Spurs, please.
Yeah, for me, well, she's saying which is what we say. Well, we're in a container. I mean, again, that's the same as the border for saying, you know, we have space, we have a curvature. They're begging the question. They're affirming, you know, already what's happening without actually researching what the dome is made of. If the dome, we don't know if the particles that hit the dome go into the dome and not bounce back. We haven't been there, so how can we possibly
dome?
Exactly.
Hold on, just because someone else has interrupted. Arwin, just let Adam and Spurs go at it, please.
I don't mind Armin.
Very aggravating to sit through this shit.
Well, you should have been quicker. Adam was the first to respond, so just, you know, Adam's addressing his issues, and I want him to.
I don't really. I mean, it's very scattergun, Spurs, when you're saying too much and raising too many points to address. But what is it you're searching for? If you're not after, are you after a complete equivalence? So almost like a micro world, as an example. Because I'm not sure why you're seeing fault in the examples unless you're after, like, say, a full equivalence of the sky. An explanation for the sky. There's a difference between that and asking for a natural example of contained pressure, which is what I think I gave you, so that it can be demonstrated, it can occur naturally. But to try and draw an equivalence from anything you see there to what is probably not going to have an equivalence within nature, that doesn't mean it doesn't have the possibility of existing. In fact, its existence fits with natural laws. So is that what you're searching for, a true equivalent example?
No, I'm saying that we've been told things exist that we cannot sense, measure, you know, any of these outside of our senses. But obviously you're saying a machine or a device will tell you that this is the reality, because for you to even entertain gas pressure, you would have to have seen that somewhere to say, oh, I wonder how that gas pressure...
Really?
Your whole body is covered with pressure sensors. Why do you think your fingers sense things when you try and pick them up? Now, there's a natural 0 point. There isn't really a 0 point. It's only a 0 point because your body resets so that you're not getting sensory input 24/7. So standard atmospheric pressure would be your 0 point, where you wouldn't get nerve stimulation of sensory input. But if you were to change atmospheric pressure, put yourself up a mountain, etc., that is noticeable. And your skin it's one of the most amazing organs. It's full of temperature sensors, pressure sensors, many things. I'm struggling to understand the point you're making, Spurs, because
I'm listening, Adam.
Yeah, do you understand? So yeah, I heard you say that yesterday, and I didn't understand why you're saying it doesn't exist, it's not experienceable, because it is something that is. I mean, the easiest and most. Oh shit! Sorry.
It's literally.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. The one you're causing a shed load of feedback.
Sorry, Nathan, that was my fault.
It's the one. Jesus wept. Try to mute your watch page before you join. Carry on, Adam.
Yeah, you spoke about pressure sensors and pressure pads. Yeah, so do we feel that pressure when we're standing here at sea level? Do we feel pressure when we climb a mountain? I would say no. I think the only thing that we, I mean, obviously if the pressure is less as you go up.
I think that might have been me as well, Nathan. No, it might have been me as well. I've got.
Don't worry, it's all sorted.
Am I not coming through? Or?
Yeah, everything's fine. Just the one destroyed that conversation. Joining with his watch page open. Okay.
Spurs, why does your ears pop?
Because of blood pressure.
What?
No, that's nothing to do with blood pressure. That's to do with the difference between the outside atmospheric pressure and the slightly contained pressurized system within the eustachian canal, which is the thing that links the back of your throat to your inner ear. That's what you have, that pressure difference. And as that pressure difference, following the law of entropy, tries to equalize, as it tries to escape, that's why you feel that pain and discomfort.
If I chew chewing gum, my ears pop.
Okay, so that what you're doing there is by masticating, you're working that area, that small pressurized pipe that has a release thing, and it allows small amounts of pressure release as you chew, as you're going up, and as you swallow. That forces and helps a consistency of the pressure equalization. But if you don't, and then you leave it to the point where there is a big pressure differential, that's when you feel the discomfort as a large volume of air tries to work its way through to equalize the pressure.
So it's nothing to do with pressure. If I can chew gum and prevent that pressure, it shouldn't matter what I do internally.
You're not preventing that pressure, Spurs.
I can't finish a sentence, Adam. I'm trying to say that
incorrect, mate.
The problem is, Spurs, that you're using the word pressure in your debunk of pressure and saying, well, if I can equalise the pressure, then that's not real pressure. Not only that, you know, we're continually describing containers that are natural. For example, the eustachian tube canal itself is a container.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, you can suck a sweet, a hard-boiled sweet. You don't have to chew gum. There are many ways to stop this ear popping.
No, it's not stopping it, Spurs. It's slowly equalizing. As you're doing that, it's constantly equalizing in small amounts because there's only a small pressure differential being created. If you don't suck and constantly small amounts equalize, which you won't feel the pressure differential, and just leave it, that's when you feel the big pressure differential because you've left it and not been slowly equalizing. You're not preventing a differential. You're adjusting the differential constantly.
I would say that's temperature. You're causing friction, which causes
not temperature. It's ridiculous.
I realise how frustrating this is. Hold on, guys. Look, just look. Hold on. Just try and contain your frustration. I know it's frustrating when he says things like that, Arwin, but try to contain it. I know it's annoying. I'm frustrated too. I know everyone on the panel probably is, but just let Adam go through it with him concisely and clearly.
I think I'm also at that point of frustration because I'm not actually having a debate with you, Spurs. I'm having to educate you on the basics, and your point of argument seems to be coming wholly from misconceptions that I don't know where you've got them from. So there isn't really a debate to have. It's you really kind of need to look in to this thing, I think, and get a bit of detail to actually present, because we're having to re-educate a misconception, not discuss a point you're raising. I'm not being rude there. I'm just trying to...
It's fine. The misconception is that everybody's ears pop. This is not true. Depending on your health, your blood pressure will depend on whether your ears pop or not. Now, that's what you need to research, Adam. You're suggesting that everybody who goes up high altitude, their ears pop instantly just like that. That doesn't happen. It depends. Pilots, for example, when they fly with the right training, their ears do not pop. You can research this. This is just something to do with your health. And if you're an unhealthy person who gets on a plane, sits in the airport for 3 hours waiting for your plane, eating gassy eating gassy foods, gassy drinks, and then you get on the plane, well, when they change the pressure at 5 psi, of course there'll be temperature change. The plane also is at 23 degrees. The body temperature is supposed to be at 37, 36, something like this. So they make it colder in the plane. So that's going to have an effect on your body anyway. And I
do want Adam to respond, but I just want to do a couple of shout outs. So shout out to Julio Pabon for hitting the super chat. Happy birthday to me. The earth is flat. Well, happy birthday to you, Julio Pabon. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat on your birthday. Really do appreciate it. Trish Blythe, dive
Are we
down
there yet?
underwater.
Tell me when we are at the 33rd floor, because
Yeah,
I'm
my
gonna
bad. Just
throw up.
shouting
what we
out
have
my
here is
guest
an
super
aircraft at
chats. My
30,000
bad.
feet.
Just asked you all if I could do it and then started and was in the middle of it. My bad. So shout out to Trish Blythe. Says, dive down underwater, you will feel pressure. Shout out to Trish Blythe for hitting the super chat. I've just got one question, then I want Adam to and Spurs to continue. So, what is a pop, Spurs?
A pop?
Yep.
What do you mean, what is a pop?
I mean, what's the pop? What is it? What's happening that causes
What's the cause of
pop?
a pop?
Yeah, any pop. Blow up a bag, paper bag, and then go bang. What causes it to go bang or pop?
Yeah, there's a force, yeah? What's that force that causes the pop?
I'm asking
So
you.
if I drop on a paper, if I drop on a crisp packet, I'm the cause of why it went pop. It didn't just pop on its own, did it?
Well, what is the pop itself? What's happening to cause the pop?
Well, that's what we need to find out. That's the question. Because we seem to think that an expansion of gases is happening where we don't know a
Expansion of
change in
gases?
temperature.
Right. So suddenly something gets pressurized and then is released and it causes a pop.
Well, when we have water in a vacuum, why does it boil?
No. Just let's stick to this one thing. What's a pop? What's happening that makes something go pop?
Find this pop because, like I said, when you look at these things under the microscope, what you actually think is happening is actually a temperature change, not a pressure change.
But Spurs, when you jumped on the bag of crisp, you said it pops, right? He's asking you, why does it pop?
Yeah, why? Why did it pop?
It has nothing to do with temperature,
As
right?
far as I knew,
You're not going to say it has to do with temperature.
There was too much heat in that bag. The air was very hot and was trying to
Heat in the bag
hold on. What was applied? Hold on, chocolate. Hold on. Just Spurs. What was applied to the bag when you held it in one hand in a fist, closed, and then brought your other hand towards the bag? What was applied? Was it heat or was it pressure?
A force.
A pressure?
Yeah.
You pressing on it rapidly?
Yeah, rapid means heat.
No, it doesn't.
When something moves quickly,
I'm done.
it's hot.
Hold on, I just want to check if Adam's got
this.
anything further, because Adam, have you got anything more?
No, I think respectfully against Spurs, we're back to educating you what a pop is, mate, just to get.
Yeah, well, this is the beauty of this. The beauty of this is that these are both ideas. None of us have
That's your differential finding in
just wanna
equilibrium, you moron.
Look, Adam's taken his time to go through it with him. I just want to hear his concluding remarks. Can I just hear them, and then it's free for all? Arwin, you'll go next, I promise.
Why so triggered, Arwin? Calm down.
Arwin's ace. Leave me alone.
I think Spurs, it's very difficult to have the conversation because we'd have to now go and explain to you why any thermal changes with regards to the pop and the rupturing caused by pressure has got sod all to do with any real thermodynamic changes. It's not relevant in any consideration.
Damn, why did you have to say that? That's not
How
true.
do we demonstrate that, though?
Hold on, I've got to correct bloody Adam now. I can't believe I'm doing this. The two are intrinsically linked, Adam.
Of course, but what I'm saying is any thermodynamic change within that thing that phenomenon you observe there, when it goes pop, the thermodynamic change, the delta T, is insignificant, but the delta P, the pressure change from the low pressure, even though it's higher than atmospheric, within the bag, and then when you compress the bag, reducing the volume and therefore increasing P, that is the thing. That increase of the force and the force pressure is the thing that ruptures because it becomes greater than the tensile strength of the bag. That's what's been observed. There's no real significant. There is a small amount of enthalpy change that you could take into consideration, but in terms of any relevance of the description of that event, temperature changes is irrelevant.
Hold on. That was his conclusion, and I just want to give him props because that was ace with all the caveats. After I got a little frustrated, so well done, Adam, with all the caveats I wanted. Superb.
Now, Adam, the force that's hitting my face, or the pressure, sorry, that's hitting my face from the atmosphere. What force? What's the cause of this?
It's a molecule which is loaded with its own internal energy, striking you.
How do you
That's what
demonstrate
pressure
this?
is.
How do you demonstrate this, Adam?
There is no direct demonstration because we can't see molecules. The closest approximation you'll have is a description of Brownian motion, which if you look that up, that will try to give you a model of...
a model?
Oh yeah, it's the closest. It's the closest that, because as I said, in science we can't see molecules.
So hold on, Adam. So Adam, please look. You're saying there is something that exists. You think it's there. We can't measure it. We can't sense it. But you just know it's there, and we have to believe it just because.
Except for all the descriptions we gave you on how to
Yeah,
measure
that's what
and
I'm
sense
saying.
it,
You're
which
giving me
you
your
keep ignoring every time.
But no demonstrations. Should I just believe your words, Adam? Just say, okay, Adam, you're right. I believe you. Okay, let's move on.
Demonstration as in demonstrate it to yourself.
Adam, can you demonstrate this for you to say, well, you know, we can't actually see it, we can't actually demonstrate it, but you just have to believe what I say.
I can show you a demonstration which theorizes it demonstrates on a much smaller micro level, like I said, with Brownian motion, which uses the dust particles that you wouldn't ordinarily see, smoke particles, to demonstrate how gas, because gas is because smoke is acting.
I'm sorry to do a Nathan. Do we live in smoke?
You were asking for a
analogous.
demonstration.
It's just a way of showing it.
Atmosphere. You're saying there's an atmosphere pressing on my face, but
you're interrupting before I got to the point of what I was trying to explain to you. So, if you want the preloaded statement of can I show you oxygen or any of the atmosphere molecules interacting? No, that's not been demonstrated by science ever. I think optically is impossible. But if you would like something which, like I said, slightly larger molecules, which are still acting in a gaseous way in the form of smoke, then you could look up Brownian motion, and that would show you how collision-based interaction is how gas particles are theorized to be based on our observations. To the best experiment, it's like I say, look at it, it's called Brownian motion.
Yeah, but Adam, I would rather deal with reality. I feel the sun hit my face. I can actually feel that when it hits, you know, your body, your face. You can feel that. Now, you can also take a temperature measurement of that. You can because you know how hot you are. You can decide, you know,
with what?
With what?
What you're taking the temperature
Correlation,
measurement?
not
With
causation.
a thermometer.
It's about to debunk with
A thermometer, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying we don't even need a thermometer, do we?
I've got to summarise this because otherwise it'll run over the live amount I want. So he's just using the same equivalence with your temperature example, and he can pull it apart in the same way you are. It's ridiculous to do so, but rather than Adam having to do it just before the end of the live show, that's what he's about. That's what he's about to do. He's about to draw the exact same equivalence where you would say, oh, well, you've got to take a man-made device to get this arbitrary quantification with a number attached to it for the gas striking the container. Well, in the same way, he can do the same exact thing to you when it comes to temperature and just claim that that doesn't mean anything when you feel the heat in the same way you'd feel the pressure.
What? You feel it, you feel the heat, the temperature, but you don't feel the pressure.
Yes,
this was the point, Spurs, that I started out with initially, where I said I was confused yesterday, where you appeared to be denying that we don't feel pressure, we don't have our skin, it doesn't feel pressure. And I think I'd just go back to that point that if you're going to make that statement, it's the same thing. Our skin is loaded with chemo, baro, pressure, temperature sensors, all of these things that are linked then into our nervous system. And once again, we're at the point where, to make your point, you appear to be denying that we have pressure sensors in our body.
How about in our organs?
Adam,
How about in our organs? Our organs have pressure.
When we go underwater, we feel the pressure underwater, not in the atmosphere, because there is no pressure. Those sensors are useful when there is actually a pressure on the body, not when there's not.
So you're right, Adam, in your summary. It is reaching the point where we will deny that you can sense pressure. Adam, Arwin, you can get the last word, and then I'm going to ask everyone to stay tuned if they're watching on Nathan Oakley. Go ahead, Arwin.
Right, so what Spurs Chemo is basically trying to do is introduce a new housekeeping question: any scientific evidence of gas pressure. That's what he's trying to do.
That's exactly what I said today. That we're going to have a new housekeeping. Any evidence of
now you're gonna have to get that new housekeeping question. We don't really see the point of it.
So I'm going to do a few shout outs. So shout out to JQ for hitting the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Shout out to Dank, who says, God bless you and thank you for tuning in to Flat Earth Debate. Also shout out to Stuart Pound. Peace. Look up. I'll have to get closer to the screen. Look up plant cell vecule. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. And then last but not least, a shout out to Retro Bill for also hitting the super chat, who's put some emojis, unicorns and farts, I believe. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat. One last shout out to Helio Pabon. Happy birthday to you. And I'll say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in, smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Another massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this live debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Check the other window. That's fine. And he asked the flight attendant. I mean, look at that, right? Oh, excuse me.
Guys, I've got to go and do some bits. I'm going to try and pop back in a bit while I've seen a bit. Good fun.
Thank you, Adam. That was top work, mate. Brilliant.
Later, Adam.
I'm glad I got the caveats in. I was frantically thinking if I was running through all the things I had to make sure.
I just don't want anybody to ever say that they're not linked, because you're like, well, it makes no difference. And you're right, in the example it does, but it just needed those caveats. And you're so good at them. Under that pressure, you immediately put all the right caveats in to make the point and still say, well, it's still just the pressure. It's the P section of the equation that we're going to be looking at, not the actual thermodynamic bit. It's not really that relevant, although it's still intrinsically linked, whether you like it or not, which was the point. I just didn't want that to go into the example as though it's never linked when it's always linked, if that makes sense.
Sorry.
I'll try and pop back in a bit, boys. Take it easy.
All right, catch you later.
Thanks, Adam.
So, this for me proves the pressure does not change from the ground level. It's still the same. The only thing that changes is the temperature. And you can see that when he opens the window, as we expect, the water starts to freeze, as it would. So he pulls it open. Right, now look at that. The second window, here's the second window. That's completely loose. Now, if we were really in such a low pressure up above, his eyes would be popping out, ears would be popping like you can't believe. We don't see any of that, right? And this is, so he calls for the flight attendant. She goes to the captain. She's gone for a couple of minutes. He's panicking. Low pressure. We've been told low pressure. She's like, don't worry about it. All is well. Nothing to worry about at this high altitude, people. Right? All you have to worry about is freezing to death, not your eyes popping out of your head and ears popping out of your skull. Right? This is pure nonsense. Right? He's telling us here. He said it here. Look. It's freezing.
Hold on, but that's the pressure differential. It's the refrigerator effect you're seeing. And by the way, cabins and planes have pressurization systems. They'll just counter it. They'll just counter it.
Yeah, the plane might have been just countering
it. As soon as the window opens, Arwin, what do you expect to happen?
Open.
The inside would fill the space and the outside would fit into the plane. Right? But because it's equalized, exactly the same, on ground level, it's 0 psi at delta.
Who said it's equalized?
Well, of course it's equalized. Look.
Why?
You can see it there.
So, hold on. This is comparable to having a nail. Let me just say, this is comparable to having a nail in a tyre. Just because it's got a hole in it doesn't mean it immediately has rapid decompression. It doesn't.
Yeah, but if a hole is in the tyre and you take the tyre out, take the nail out, what happens? Yeah.
Well, you haven't taken the window out. There's just a hole. There's just a hole in it.
Yeah, it's very slow.
But the system's continually being pressurized. So
yes, but the outside would push on the window.
It always is pressure. No. It's pressing. No. For a start, they're pressurizing the inside of that chamber. So the pressure's pushing outwards. You're at a lower pressure.
You just told me there's atmospheric pressure.
Spurs, you're not letting me say more than a few words with an explanation that clearly you don't understand. Because no, the pressure, the thing that you seem to want to deny, the thing that they're pumping the plane with, the thing causing all the fatigue in all of those metals, that means they have to scrap the planes after a certain number of pressurization cycles. That thing that you're denying is pressing out. So what's happening is there's a motor or whatever that's constantly, a compressor that's constantly generating that internal cabin pressure at a higher level than the outside pressure. Well, if you lose like a tyre, there's a hole in it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you get rapid decompression. The whole window hasn't flown out. It's not suddenly losing all of that pressure. It's losing a small amount, but it's probably losing it through all the seals anyway in some respect. So it really doesn't make a huge amount of difference. It's not experiencing rapid decompression. It's just experiencing a leak, a small leak, like a nail in a tyre.
Like the hole in the ISS.
Like my tire.
Hold on, gentlemen, please. Let me kind of respond. It's like you guys make an explanation and then just expect me to accept it, and then someone else starts talking and gives the same explanation.
Okay, yeah, enough moaning.
Yeah, this is all horse shit anyway. This is all horse shit.
You're making ridiculous
wasting time on this show. Adam gave an absolute brilliant explanation, concise. It was ace. Everything was correct, right? This is a clear case of Hanlon's razor. Don't attribute to malice what can be explained by ignorance. You're ignorant. Now go educate yourself and stop bogging down this show.
Where do you suggest he starts, by the way, with that, John?
Second grade.
No, but like, what would be the best source to really get the scientific proof that gas pressure exists? Where would you start?
Second grade. Well, to hell with it. Start over. Preschool. And then go up through again. Let's do it all over again. Spurs. All right, you're a good man. I like you, but this is horse shit. And I'm here to put an end to it. You mentioned one more thing about
pressure. Is there an official experiment that
say gas pressure one more time?
You can give me all the rhetoric and scripture you like.
Okay.
I'm giving you a demonstration of atmospheric pressure. The pressure on the outside of this plane is not pressing on that window. He is pulling the window. Nothing is pushing on the window.
I'm going to ease your pain.
Pushing on this little window. We don't see it. What we do see, him pulling the window, and the aeroplane that is supposed to be pressurized at 14.7 anyway, to equalize what's going on the outside. So if it's, you're saying it's 5 psi on the outside, 5 psi on the inside, and they just equalize themselves.
I don't really care about anything more you have to say. He's not in Discord. This is out of my control.
Spurs. I just explained this to you. What part of my explanation didn't you like?
Look, it doesn't matter to me. This is a belief with no demonstrations.
Yeah.
No, it's not a belief. Planes do go through pressurization cycles. It's a big problem. It's hugely expensive because it causes metal fatigue. So this is definitely a thing.
How much do they pressurize the planes?
I don't know. What I do know is that they pressurize the plane, and in so doing, it causes the plane, like a balloon, to expand slightly. In fact, on the Concorde, they had to put in these expansion joints to account for this pressurization when they went supersonic, because it got so big, the plane would physically expand. And when they decommissioned the planes, one of the pilots left his hat in the expansion joints when it compressed back down again. Now, we're talking about pressure. We're talking about pressurization cycles. The plane gets pressurized to make it more comfortable for the passengers when they go up to the lower pressure, higher up. So you've got an increased pressure in the cabin. Now, if there's a leak, in the same way there's a leak in a tyre, the tyre doesn't experience rapid decompression. It's essentially got a slow puncture. Well, it's the same with this window. The fact that it's losing pressure doesn't mean that suddenly it's overwhelmed. It just means that either the compressor's got to work a bit harder or there's slightly lower pressure in the cabin, but it's not experiencing rapid decompression.
Right. Unless the window would break or something, but that's
exactly what I said, Arwin. And the window hasn't come out of the frame.
Why
So
would
what
it?
part? So
Pressure
Spurs,
being
my
applied
question:
to the window.
what part of that didn't you like?
Why would the window come out if there's no pressure being applied to it?
Because it's very strong. It was designed to not let that happen. Yeah, that's
All
kind of
that
useful to
pressure
have on a plane,
come
don't
out.
you think? A window that's not gonna break, under these pressure conditions. I'm pretty
Everything
sure
that
they
you
were
said to me
specifically
is
designed to
what
prevent
all
that
Earth
from
is saying
happening.
to us, right? We've done it, they've done it, somebody has it, they've got it, and that's what you're saying to me now. Concorde, pilots, they've done it, they've got it. Who's done it? Have we done it? Have you demonstrated
Spurs,
gas
can I
pressure
ask
in
you a
nature?
Do you
question?
have an airplane
Oh my
factory?
God! You want to ask him a question? Oh my God!
Yes, I do.
Hasn't he demonstrated his status enough? I'll tell you what. Let's have a mega show, 4 hours, asking Spurs questions about gas pressure.
How do you know what
My
question?
God, people.
How do you know what question I'm going to ask him?
Get on with it, please.
No need, are
I
we?
asked the question. How does someone know what question I'm going to ask?
I don't.
Thank you. Spurs, you cited that pilots have overcome this ear puppet. I'd like to know where your citation is, and I'd like to know if they're managing through some kind of exercise, so as they go higher and higher, it's less and less pressure. Where's your citation for all these claims?
Just a second, give us a moment. I'll get you that.
Thank you, because if it's managing, which is what they're doing, might as well get a pack of gum. Same with divers who go underwater. They must descend slowly and ascend slowly. They're just so out of whack, Spurs.
Yeah, it's called the bends.
My thing is, even if the pilots have somehow conditioned themselves to not have the popping, and their bodies are used to that, well, I'm sure there's a passenger in the same plane that is not used to that, and they're feeling that pressure. So that pressure is still there. Doesn't matter if
It's a very basic trick.
doesn't matter if the guy
But-
is managing it or not. The pressure's still there.
But that's the
I've
point,
taken
Chocolate.
many flights, and some flights
Like-
I don't experience it, and some flights I do very
People
badly.
who climb mountains are like that. They get used to it and they
Yeah,
can
but-
breathe
but-
better.
exactly. So we're not used to a temperature drop like that.
Why
That's
do you
what-
keep equivocating? Why is it everyone describes you feeling a pressure change, and then you immediately equivocate and go, well, that's temperature, when it isn't. It's pressure.
Because he's claiming that it is that.
Yes.
And it's wrong, because there's a correlation between pressure change and
So
temperature
if
change.
that's the
But
case,
that
Spurs,
correlation is not the causation. It's a side.
I'm sorry, Arwen. Spurs, if that's the case, then why is it when it's winter here, my ears don't pop when I walk around outside? I've worked at an airport in almost negative degree weather. Right? I've never had my ears pop while I'm on the ground.
Yes.
So if it's temperature,
the temperature doesn't just drop all of a sudden.
no, of course not.
When you go up, it drops all of a sudden. That's the consistency. It's not warmer up there.
Okay, so then what's adding to that effect then? Because if you're saying it's just cold,
yeah,
then when I'm walking around and it's 10 degrees outside,
Music to my ears.
what I hear a lot of
remember,
background
the
noise.
temperature drops slowly. It doesn't just go from hot to cold, does it? It drops gradually.
Well, sometimes it does if you get out of a hot car or something into a cold environment.
Somebody is playing music back and
What's going on? What's going on in the background?
Not me.
Is that you?
It's somebody on your panel.
Someone on the hangout?
Oh.
Someone watching a video?
Diamond on the turn gives Daniel the flush. Moneymaker now drawing.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, it was Ranty.
Bloody Ranty.
Citation Spurs. Citation Spurs. Managing is something that a pilot and divers do when they go slowly in the water, up and down, so the bubbles don't form in their body to cause the bends. Citation for pilots managing in a similar way. It's a learned behavior. They do it all the time. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. That's why they do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. High pressure allows gases to dissolve into liquids more easily. That's also the cause of why bubbles start to form when the divers go into a lower pressure zone, because suddenly the gas no longer naturally dissolves as easily because the pressure is changing. So it starts to then become gas again all of a sudden.
Arwen, why at the bottom of the ocean it's cold with so much pressure?
Because there's no direct sunlight. Sunlight is the most thing that heats everything up.
There's a lot of pressure there, though, right? But it's cold.
Right, Spurs, this was your citation. Can you see what he says on screen?
What did he say?
You want to read it?
Yeah, he's saying that's the problem. He's talking about pressurization.
Just read it.
Yes, he says pressurization.
Just read the words. That's the problem with the ears popping, right? The way that the pressurization.
Yeah, that's what he says. That's part of the lie.
But this is your citation.
Oh my god.
All right, I'll show you another video that he talks about the altimeter, and you listen to what he says about how they have to recalibrate them because the machine thinks it's lower when it's higher, when it's hotter, when it's colder. They don't have a device to actually measure the pressure. So what?
Spurs, you've just given us a citation. Let's not whistle past it. It backs our argument and craps all over your idea within, it took me 25 seconds to find that. I didn't even have to listen to it. I just stuck subtitles on and scrolled through it for about, 25 seconds until I find him saying the word pressurization. Yeah, so that craps all over your argument, Spurs. I don't know why you're doing this.
Because like I just said, when you asked him about how an altimeter works...
It's a video. I don't get to ask it. It's a video. I got to brought up the transcript and show what he said, and he used the word pressurization, crapping all over your argument.
What is wrong with you? They say gravity all the time and don't back it up.
Yeah, and we would absolutely... Spurs, don't use that equivocation. In this instance... Spurs, in this instance, we can give you demonstrations and absolutely explain the processes that go along with this very real fact of life. Yeah, it's easy to comprehend, easy to measure, easy to describe. Gravity isn't any of those things.
It's the same thing, a force that exists that cannot be measured.
We can measure pressure. This is nonsense.
Right, here's the same guy explaining how they get the height of the plane from the ground, how much pressure, and he keeps saying...
So before you've even played it, he's telling you about pressure.
Yeah, like gravity. He'll tell you because of gravity. You believe in gravity?
I don't need it. We're not. You're just equivocating. We're not talking about gravity. Spurs, don't rumpus me. Spurs, don't rumpus me. We're not going to equivocate with gravity when we're talking about pressure. And the first example, you're not going to give us an example where he debunks pressure. He describes it. And then you're going to equivocate that because he also talks about gravity. That's just... I've forgotten what fallacy it is, but where you're taking... I think it's cherry picking.
It's a false equivalence fallacy from the Black Lagoon.
Right,
and if anyone looks at another citation that Spurs provides, I'm going to take a contract out on you.
Can I make a point? Right. So the pressure that he's describing is being forced down by gravity, which is not the same pressure that you are describing. Now, which pressure are you describing? Are you describing the pressure that is caused by gravity or another type of pressure?
Okay, will I get to answer?
Yeah.
Do you appreciate that there are molecules of gas?
No.
You're having a fucking laugh.
Well, I'm having a laugh here.
Take the contract out, John.
I can't believe I didn't ask this question earlier. So we're arguing about the wrong thing. It's not that Spurs denies gas pressure. He denies gas.
Wait, what? I missed that. Deny it's gas now?
Yep, basically. I just hadn't thought it would go that far. I've asked him if he accepts that we have gases. I was about to ask him if he accepts that they expand in all directions randomly. I didn't get that far because he said no.
No,
Spurs, Spurs, really?
Again, this is what they tell us.
Spurs.
Can you
They
show?
tell us. They tell us.
I'm currently literally
They tell us
Spurs.
everything they tell us. We have to just destroy everything and start anew. Just like the,
at the moment,
communist
Spurs.
philosophy. Just start anew.
Christ. At the moment, Spurs.
I watched the video.
Oh
I
my
watched
God.
it.
At the
I'm
moment,
sorry, go
Spurs, I'm sitting my 2-year-old on the worktop with a kettle and some ice cubes and explaining the different states to her. She's 2.
Okay.
Well, I'm showing a steam and explaining that state.
Steam. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's understanding it. She's 2, Spurs, and you're denying this. She can comprehend what a gas is. Yeah? You can't, it seems.
What do you think you're seeing when you see steam? Like,
Well,
what do you think that is?
It's water.
Yeah, water doing what?
Well, what is it? What is it doing? Tell me.
Oh dear.
I think that this state of mind is specifically described in psychiatry. I think it's
I
called
need to
being
know
lost.
what you're thinking. If you have an idea about what it is, then say what you think it is.
Spurs, do you
First
think
chemo is in limbo, guys. He is in limbo.
Absolutely.
do you think that there's a dome or something, a container over us?
I have no idea what it is.
Because
I haven't
there's
been there.
there's
What do you
some
want to think?
examples.
I don't know. I haven't been there. Yeah, maybe there is. Maybe. How do we know this page?
Because I was just about to say there's some examples of things falling out of the sky, glass and stuff like that. This glass has got properties in it that they haven't found in anything else on the earth. It's got graphite filaments or something in it.
Okay.
And these things have been seen, recorded, just dropping from the sky. So, there's some evidence that we do have some kind of, glass-ish kind of covering, and that would keep our air pressure.
So what container page do you know that has mud as the base and water and glass as the roof?
How did we get to this?
If I could make one, I could make you a terrarium.
So you could make me a mud and water base. What would the walls be made out of?
Well, you said I could have glass. So,
oh, you want glass? Okay, so
well, yeah, I'm saying that they've found bits of glass that have fallen out of the sky. So
yeah, but
if you're going to let me have glass,
you're saying page the container. So we know that the base of the container is mud, earth, sand, water. That's the bottom of the base, and then you're saying the roof of the base is what? Glass.
Well, yeah, this Libyan glass, whatever they call it.
Oh, hold on. Has it been witnessed falling, or was it?
Yeah, there's video of it.
So, Paige, do you see my problem here? That is, we're doing the same thing.
Yes,
as what?
I understand where you're coming from, Spurs. I just think that you're just getting really worried that everything is wrong.
I'm not, Paige. I'm not. Stop right there. I'm not. I'm only interested in the truth, not an agenda. Okay, so I'm sticking to the script, the plan that we've always had. That is, demonstrate your claim. Like the ball earthers have to demonstrate.
So you do want an exact equivalence then?
No. Hold on, Paige. Again, I'm missing something here. What do we say to the ball earthers? They say there's gravity. The earth is curving, it's spinning. We demand that they prove their claim. They're not allowed to just, entertain a fantasy with us.
Yes.
No, we hold toast to fire. So now you're saying to me there's a dome and it's made out of glass. And I'm like, whoa, how do you know this?
Spurs.
Well, I don't know for sure, but there is evidence pointing towards that.
So why I say there's no pressure, Paige, is because in order for there to be pressure, the particles, as you put it, would need to bounce off something. Now, for all we know, those particles could go into the roof, as you describe it, and absorb or be absorbed. Therefore, there would be no pressure. In that case, it's just free. Yeah. So the idea that there's pressure, there has to be a force. This pressure is from gravity. This is a globe earther understanding. Now, just because your ears pop, you put it down to, that's again an old wives' tale that they've tried to latch onto this gradient, this pressure, when all we feel is temperature. You don't feel any pressure. Again, look, I'll give you an example. Sea level is 14.7. So we can go to Salton Sea where it's 200 feet below sea level on the surface. That would mean you would feel more pressure. This doesn't happen. People don't feel heavy.
But Spurs, you don't.
What about when you're in a
I'm
bath and
sick of this
you get
shit.
used to it?
All right,
Then you take the water
calm
out.
down, man. Relax, Arwen. Come on.
No, I'm sick of having shoved all these presumptions in
All
this.
right, so relax, man. Let Spurs talk. But I do want to ask Spurs a question, right? Like when you're in the plane, right, at flying at altitude, 35,000 feet or something, you're not experiencing the same temperature that you are outside. So
no, they reduce the temperature. They drop it to 23 degrees, which is not body temperature. So obviously, it's air conditioned. So they're
right, but it's still not the same temperature as it would be on the outside of the plane. But you do still feel the pop. Because this is what I'm trying to understand. Like you're saying it's just temperature. So why is it at ground level when it's extremely cold, I don't feel my ears pop?
Well, again, it's not cold enough. The change.
It's not cold enough. But when you're warmer, listen.
Not cold enough. The rapid change is not quick enough. So it's a rapid change from hot to cold in an area.
But what if you get out of a warm car into a freezing?
It's not a rapid change. They pressurize the plane before it leaves the ground.
How much do they pressurize the plane by?
I don't know the exact number.
Yeah, you need to know that. You need to know the exact number. It needs to be able to be.
But it's still pressurized.
Yeah,
trust me, I know.
Everyone can feel it happening as they do it.
By how much? You don't even know this. This is the point. You're just thinking pressure. Do they even pressurize the planes? Do you even realize they're pressurized?
Yes, they are. Let me look it up for you, you freak.
Again, where's the demonstration of a pressurized?
Yes, they're pressurizing the plane, Spurs.
First, I have a question.
Yes, because we have procedures that if we have procedures that we had to follow, and if we open the doors too early, it would fuck up the plane.
Yes,
it would
the air is too cold, and you put the oxygen masks on, which
because you have to depressurize the plane before you open the doors.
They would give
That's why when I had to pull up to the plane, I would have to knock on the door and get a thumbs up from the flight attendant before I open the door, because then I would know that it's okay to open the door. It's not pressurized anymore.
Right. So I'm looking this up here, and what they do specifically is keep the air pressure inside the cabin equivalent to the outside air pressure above sea level.
That's not true.
820.
I don't think that's true, Armin. I don't know where you've got that citation, but I don't think that's strictly true. I think it's slightly
Nathan,
lower.
Give me a heads up if I could talk to Spurs about his citation that he sent.
Cabin pressurization.
Are you done, Chocolate, or is there any more to add?
No, I'm just trying to understand the correlation of the temperature and the pressure, because he's saying it's just temperature. So I'm trying to understand why is it when I grew up in New York. It's been cold. I've worked in negative weather, so I've never had my ears popped. I've never experienced that type of pressure. So it can't just be temperature, Spurs. It's got to be something going on.
I have a quick question for Spurs.
I want Spurs to respond, then 10th man, then you can go ahead, the one. Are Spurs gone?
I think Spurs dropped out, yeah.
He just dropped?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sorry. 10th man, do you want to make your point anyway?
Yeah, thanks. I asked for a citation because I got tired of him saying pilots say this, pilots say that. So he sent a video on Master B. I got 4 minutes into it, and this pilot is not saying anything related to what Spurs is declaring. The pilot is saying that as the plane goes on the runway, just before it lifts, it pressurizes the cabin to 8,000. Not when it's still, but as it's taking off, before it even goes up. It's got a calibration automatic system on the plane to make the plane 8,000 foot pressurized. So they're actually using pressure before you're even at 8,000 feet to give you an 8,000 foot pressure, feeling. And then he says, now the plane will go to 41,000 feet. This is right off the video he sent to prove his point, which disproves his point. He says, when the plane's at 41,000 feet, you're always going to be at that 8,000. He says, now, you guys who fly, you have ear problems. Well, so do we as pilots. And then he talks about managing and manually doing something to adjust for the pressure. I never heard this pilot once say, we're going to raise the temperature of the plane.
Does he think it's all an act when they pressurize the plane and stuff? Like, what does he think they're actually doing?
Right, 10th man, what's causing this pressure? What's the force?
Excuse me, Spurs. I am so done talking to you. Your own video disproves you. Everyone go watch it. This guy's nuts.
Okay, again, he says gravity causes the force. So now you're globe believers believing in gravity.
Shit.
What?
Okay, the one.
Isn't it just more gas pumped
Go ahead,
in
the one.
to
Go
make
ahead.
the pressure?
I just want to ask Spurs. Spurs, have you ever farted?
Yeah, and the pressure comes from me. I'm the force. I squeeze it out.
What comes from you? What comes from you?
Yeah, but I squeeze that gas out.
You squeeze it out.
Or does gravity squeeze it out? You tell me.
Have you ever burped?
Again, does gravity force that pressure out of me, or do I force that out of me?
First, before you do those two things, your organism sends you a signal that you need to do it. So you know why is that?
Why
Internal increase of pressure, maybe?
Organs have pressure senses.
Exactly.
Very important. Sign of inflammation, all kinds of issues. If it doesn't have pressure senses, people would die.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who've tuned in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!